Guys, our friends at Geology are celebrating their 5-year anniversary, and they're doing it with their biggest offer ever. Geology is a 24-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company that creates simple and effective skincare and hair care routines customized just for you. All of their products are made with scientifically proven ingredients trusted by dermatologists and cosmetic chemists. I have been pairing the Deep Jasmine and Clove Hannah Super Clean Body Wash with the natural deodorant in the same scent, and I smell amazing. I've gotten a lot of compliments, and I'll tell you what, it's been simple. You take a 30-second diagnostics quiz, and their team of dermatologists will design a personalized routine that is shipped directly to your door. Right now, for a limited time, they are hooking you up with an absolute insane offer. Use my code Chael70 or scan the QR code on the screen, and they will give you an exclusive 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. On top of that, you can get 30% on the add-on products of your choice when you add it to your trial. This is one of the best offers you will ever see. Get it before it's gone. Head to geology.com to level up your hygiene routine, or just click on the link below. The most glaringly obvious answer is he goes to 155 pounds. Now, the reason that's an interesting topic, Max feels as though he went to 155 pounds, and it was just too much. It was just too much size, right? He popped up there. He takes on Dustin Poirier, and it was just too much. Goes back down to 45. Amongst the best to have ever done it. Not just right now, to have ever done it. And what Max doesn't realize is it's a different animal now. Right, with age, and you get this maturity, and you get this strength, and Max was never fully committed to 55. He went up to 55, but going up to 55 and being a 55-pounder are two very different things. And if Max just took a little period of time, and it's not all that much, by the way. Like, you don't need to go do the Jon Jones and sit for 3 years. You could do this in much closer to 4 or 5 months. And nobody showed us how effective and how quickly you could do a weight change than Volkanovski. Volkanovski even brought us along the journey of when he did it. He quite literally had a food sponsor that wanted him to advertise the food in exchange for giving him the food, and he would show us quite literally what he ate every day. I mean, this is something that can be done very fast. You're talking about 10 pounds. And Max, just with age and maturity, it is a different body and is a different frame right now. He could go to 155 and he could be a massive impact player right out of the gate. And 55, as fun as it is becoming the dinosaur division. I mean, not for nothing, but show me a young guy that's up at 55 that we care about. It's one of these things, like, it's got to be rinse and repeat or you don't have a business. It has to be out with the old and in with the new, and these guys are clinging to it, and these new guys don't even know how to break in or get their attention, right? It's one of these things where if you brought somebody like Max that's already a box office draw, he could go in and get in there. We don't know who the best fighters at 55 are because you have 5 stars. You got 15 guys that are ranked, which is stupid. You have 10 guys that are ranked, that makes sense, but 6 through 10 can't get the attention of 1 through 5. So if you bring somebody in like Max that can kick everybody's ass, and he's already a box office draw, he could get on the docket with one of them dinosaurs. And it's a real problem that 55 has. And the first new guy that comes along goes and beats all of them, Islam Makhachev. But there's more Islams in the division. They're just not stars. And they can't get on the right. I mean, it's a real meaningful thing. You've got to do something about it. Not to mention 45's getting a little stale with Max going through and beating everybody up. I mean, it's to the point that we're having to make number 1 contenders, and the best way we can make one is have them not fight Max. We know they can't beat Max. We know nobody can beat Max. So if we're gonna have a number 1 contender, let's just find a guy, let's bring him along, and let's have him not fight Holloway. So it would just seem as though taking him to 55 solves all the problems. Not to mention, he is amongst the great talents of any weight class. You come on the pound-for-pound list and you don't put Max on it, you simply lose credibility. Have I sold you? Are we good? Are we good? Do we go home? No, we don't. Because the entire issue is to get him away from Volk. There's one guy. There just happens to be one guy. And that one guy might be going up to 55. Do you see the problem now? So if Max does it the right way, he leaves 45 behind. He puts on the size, right? He's got one of the great nutritionalists and minds in sports medicine out there with Tyler. He can go and do this as quick as Volk could. But it has to be a commitment that's not just physical, it has to be mental. See, that was the side of it. He never mentally committed. It's what cost Volkanovski the championship that night. Physically, here I am, but mentally, I'm going back to 45 anytime I want to. It was one of these things. He wasn't all in. So let's just say that Max goes all in and he goes to 55. Max could capture the championship for sure. And the experience that Max had in there with Poirier up there at 55 is not the same experience he's going to have a couple of years and a commitment later. It's not. But the problem he runs into of this damn Volk keeps chasing him, right? Even Adesanya and Pereira finally got it figured out. Which is, I'm great, you're great. I don't like you, you don't like me. Just go up here. Just go up here. Maybe we'll deal with this later. Just go up here and do your thing. I'll be down here doing my thing, right? They finally got it worked out. And it's not the first time that I've seen this. Daniel Cormier is as good of a wrestler as you're going to come across. He just came up at the same weight class in the same year as the greatest to have ever done it in Chael Sanderson. Daniel Cormier can beat everybody except Chael Sanderson, and they're the same age and they're the same weight classes. Hell, they were in the same conference. Iowa State versus Oklahoma State. They're right next to each other. There's nobody in the world that could beat either one of them, and they're right next to each other, right? It's one of these things. So what does Daniel do? Well, he changes weight classes, and then he goes on and becomes Chael Sanderson's teammate at the Olympic Games. Instead of one of them staying home, they figured it out. And I just don't know that Max is in that same position. I mean, it's as obvious as it is that a guy at 21 years old who fought at 145 pounds, of course, at 33-year-olds needs to be a 55-pounder. None of you weigh the same thing 10 years later. None of you watching this weigh the same today as you weighed 10 years ago. Why should Max have to? Of course he should be a 55-pounder, and it gets him away from Volkanovski, unless Volkanovski's going up. I mean, do you see the risk? You want to beat a guy? You want to beat a guy in life? Damn near anything. Outlast him. Outlast him. You're looking around, you're playing baseball, something like that. You got a few guys that are better than you. Next year, they're still better than you. Next year, they're still better than you. Next year, they're still better than you. Next year, they got a girlfriend. This guy got a DUI, and this guy moved away. You're now the guy. Outlast them. But how do you outlast a guy that might have the same plan as you, which is to get a little parity, which means he's going to move up? Right? I mean, Alex Pereira's entire plan here to move up changes if Adesanya also moves up. One of those really interesting spots. It's the move that every light heavyweight missed when Jon Jones moved up. Jon Jones took his oars out of the water, decided he was going to leave the division. You just needed one light heavyweight that had anybody with any creative power that could have called them and told them, follow him, and follow him publicly. Tell the world he's running from me and I'm following him. I'm coming after him. He goes, I go. He left this division to get away from me. He's not getting away from me because I'm coming after him, even with the fat boys at whatever that weight class. What is heavyweight? 265? 285? I'm just sharing with you. There's ways to do this, but there's ways not to do it. Sometimes you got to be patient. Sometimes good things come to those who wait, and Max is just in a really tough spot. It really is an interesting position. Max is as good of a fighter as you need to be. If you sit down and dream about being a fighter, you don't need to dream about being any better than Max. You get to that point, all your dreams will come true. Your bank account will look great. People will know who you are. You'll be on plenty of posters. But every now and then, much like Daniel Cormier and Chael Sanderson, you just at the same time. You just fight each other at the same time. So what do? I think it's a tough spot. And I think before Max makes a commitment and or a decision, he is right to be patient. He does need to speak up. The fact that they're building number one contenders with one built-in policy, which is keep the guy away from Holloway because he's going to run. I think that's the story Max needs to tell, not me. So what's Max going to do next? Got to wait and hear from Max.